Let me tell you something about football. Football is the one sport on the entire planet where a 41-year-old man can walk into a stadium holding 70,000 screaming fans, in the Texas heat, in June, at a FIFA World Cup, and still be the most dangerous man on the pitch. That man is Cristiano Ronaldo. And on June 17, 2026, at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, he and his Portugal teammates sent a message to the entire world that was loud, clear, and written in 6 unanswered goals. DR Congo came. They competed. But Portugal? Portugal put on a masterclass. 6 goals. 0 conceded. And a legend, playing in his 6th FIFA World Cup, reminded every single person watching why this sport makes us lose our minds. But before we get into every single goal, every moment of brilliance, every heart in your throat second of this match, I want to take you back, way back, because this World Cup, this Portugal team, and this result didn't just happen overnight. This is a story that goes back decades. And honestly, it might be the most compelling story in football right now. Stick with me, because this is going to be worth every second. Here's a fun little fact about the FIFA World Cup that most casual fans don't know. The very first World Cup, held in Uruguay in 1930, had only 13 teams. 13. No qualifying tournaments, no playoffs, no intercontinental matches. The organizers literally just sent out invitations like it was a dinner party. And most European teams didn't even bother showing up because the boat ride across the Atlantic took 2 weeks. 2 weeks on a boat to play football. You think players today complain about long-haul flights? Imagine telling Cristiano Ronaldo he's got to spend 14 days on a ship before he can play. The man would probably still show up, do 1,000 sit-ups on deck every morning, and arrive looking better than everyone else. That's just who he is. But the point is, the World Cup started small, humble, almost accidental, and it grew into something so enormous that today, in 2026, we have 48 nations competing across 3 countries, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, in the biggest edition of this tournament in history. And Portugal, a nation of just over 10 million people, a country smaller than the state of Indiana, is standing right at the center of it all. Portugal has been chasing the World Cup for 60 years. Let that sink in. Their greatest ever finish came all the way back in 1966. When Eusebio, a man so gifted they called him the Black Panther, dragged Portugal to a 3rd-place finish in England. Eusebio scored 9 goals in that tournament. 9. In 6 games. He cried on the pitch at the end. Not because they lost, they beat the Soviet Union in the 3rd-place playoff, but because he knew, deep down, that Portugal had come as close as they might ever get. And for decades after that, Portugal wandered in the wilderness. They missed tournament after tournament. They had brilliant players, Figo, Rui Costa, Simu, and kept running into heartbreak. Then, in 2004, on home soil, hosting the Euros, Portugal lost the final to Greece. Greece, a team ranked 35th in the world at the time. It remains one of the biggest upsets in football history, and it broke an entire nation's heart. A young kid watching from the bench that night, barely 19 years old, would one day carry the weight of that heartbreak on his back and turn it into the fuel for the greatest individual career the sport has ever seen. That kid was Cristiano Ronaldo. Now fast forward to 2026, and here we are. Ronaldo is 41 years old, the oldest player ever to appear in 6 World Cups, and he's standing in a tunnel in Houston, Texas, in a red Portugal kit, about to walk out against DR Congo in Group K. People spent the entire lead up to this tournament asking the same question over and over: should Ronaldo still be here? Is he past it? Is Roberto Martinez doing Portugal a disservice by bringing him? And look, those are fair questions. Football is brutal and honest. You can't hide on a World Cup stage. But here's the thing about Ronaldo that people always seem to forget: he has never, not once in his entire career, backed down from a big moment. The man scored 143 international goals. He holds the all-time record for international appearances with 227 caps. These are numbers so absurd that future football fans will read them and assume there's a typo. There is no typo. And now, in what could genuinely be his final World Cup, in what he has described as the last dance of his career, Ronaldo is here. In Houston. And DR Congo is about to find out exactly what that means. DR Congo, for their part, deserve enormous credit just for being here. This was their first World Cup appearance since 1974, over 50 years. 50 years! Think about everything that has happened in the world in 50 years. The Leopards, as they are known, went through brutal qualifying, beating Jamaica in a crucial playoff to secure their place. Head coach Sebastian Desabre had built a compact, disciplined defensive unit that conceded very few goals in the run-up to the tournament. They held Denmark to a goalless draw just 2 weeks before this game. This was not a pushover side. But Portugal, with Bruno Fernandes operating at the peak of his powers. With Bernardo Silva weaving through defenses like he's playing a video game on easy mode, with Rafael Leo ready to break ankles on the left wing. And with Goncalo Ramos hungry for goals, Portugal was simply a level above. Multiple levels, as it turned out. And here is where the match itself becomes something special to watch. Because Portugal didn't bully DR Congo with physicality or just boot long balls forward and hope for the best. They were elegant. They were precise. They passed their way through DR Congo's defensive structure like water finding cracks in a wall, patiently, relentlessly, inevitably. The goals came from different angles, different players. Different moments of individual genius that made you rewind the clip just to make sure you actually saw what you thought you saw. Bruno Fernandes, pulling the strings from midfield, finding runners in behind with passes that had eyes on them. Bernardo Silva, arguably the most complete midfielder in the world right now, drifting into pockets of space and making decisions that were simply a step ahead of everyone else on the pitch. And then, of course, there was Ronaldo. In a result like this, on a stage like this, Cristiano Ronaldo was never going to be a passenger. He was involved, he was dangerous, and when his moment came, he took it the way only he can, with that trademark combination of precision, power, and sheer theatrical timing that makes you feel like you're watching someone who was quite literally built for moments exactly like this one. NRG Stadium, all 70,000 seats of it, absolutely erupted. And somewhere watching from home, a 9-year-old kid saw that celebration and decided they want to play football for the rest of their life. That's the magic of this sport. That's the magic of the World Cup. 6 goals. No reply. Portugal top of Group K. But the result, as staggering as it is, almost feels secondary to the broader picture it paints. Because this Portugal team, this particular generation, might genuinely be the best collection of footballers this country has ever produced at the same time. You have Ronaldo, the legend in the twilight of a career that redefined what a footballer could achieve. You have Bruno Fernandes, who just wrapped up a domestic season so absurd, 9 Premier League goals and a record-breaking 21 assists, that people are running out of ways to describe it. You have Bernardo Silva, who at his best is simply unguardable. You have João Neves and Vitinha controlling midfield with a calmness that seems almost unfair for players their age. You have Goncalo Ramos, a pure finisher in the penalty box who gives Portugal something they have sometimes lacked, a traditional number 9 who scores the ugly goals. The tap-ins, the headers. And then you have the entire supporting cast around them, the fullbacks, the wide players. The goalkeeper Diogo Costa, all of them operating at the highest level of their careers. If there was ever a moment, ever a window, for Portugal to finally win the one trophy that has always escaped them, it is right now. It is this tournament. It is 2026. And look, DR Congo will bounce back. They will. A team that fought through 50 years of World Cup absence, that won their spot on the biggest stage through sheer determination, doesn't fold after one heavy result. Football has a short memory, and the beautiful thing about a group stage is that there are always more games to be played, more stories to be written, more upsets waiting to happen. Sebastian Desabre will get his team together, regroup, and come out swinging in their next fixture. That's what football does. It gives you another chance. But right now, today, on June 17th, 2026, this day belongs to Portugal. It belongs to Ronaldo. It belongs to every Portuguese fan who has been waiting, patiently, passionately, for 60 years to see their team stand at the very top of the world. The journey is just beginning. The group stage has only just kicked off. There are still Colombia, there is still Uzbekistan, there are still the knockout rounds with the best teams on the planet waiting on the other side. But if tonight is any indication, If what we saw in Houston is a preview of what this Portugal team is capable of when everything clicks, then the rest of the world had better start paying attention. Because Portugal are here. Cristiano Ronaldo is here. And they are not done yet. Not by a long shot. That's all for today's highlights. If you watched every second of that game, you already know what a spectacle it was. If you're just catching up now, go back and watch every single goal because trust me, each one is worth it. Drop a comment below telling me which goal was your favorite. And don't forget to like and subscribe because the World Cup is just getting started and we are going to cover every single moment of it right here. See you in the next one.